All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're coming from. Wherever you're
Welcome in,
coming from.
folks.
Welcome in.
You made
Got a
it.
new, made it in. Royalty-free music. Shout out Bear Stock Music, whoever you are, providing music that can play in Russia. So our Russian listeners can watch without getting cut out.
How do you say hello in Russian?
Not to get super political, but I don't know if you saw the Tucker Carlson went to Russia stuff that happened like, and then now it's been like a month or so,
I
maybe
did see
more, a
that.
couple months ago.
The Russian hello. I just asked Google how to say hello in Russian, and it gave it to me in their alphabet and not
Is it
the
hello, hello?
Latinized. So this is the Privyet. Is that the Latinized? I don't know. We need people to listen in the United States before we worry about
That's
our
true. We need what we think
Russian
we're going. We
comrades.
think we're getting Russian audience. We must be out of our minds. We must be out of our minds. All right.
Almost the end of the
Well,
week, though. We made it.
we made it.
Happy
We made it.
Friday
So,
Eve.
Nick, so sorry. Last week we missed everybody.
We did, yeah. We took a week off to relax, watch the Masters, which I don't know if you're a big Masters fan or not.
Um, I don't think I am. No, I don't think I
I
you know, it seems like a beautiful place though. I'll tell you that.
know. It's like a blast back to the past. Food and drink. This is the way it should be at sporting events. Food and drink costs like $2 for a sandwich. Soft drink is $1. Like, and you're not allowed to have your phone on you at the course. So I I just think that's great.
I didn't know it was that affordable.
Well, it's not affordable in the sense like getting into the place. You have to enter a lottery. Millions of people enter. Only about 10,000 patrons a day get it accepted and invited to attend. And then I don't know how much it costs. You have to pay to travel there. And I don't know how much it costs to like actually be there. So yeah, obviously this is something that I've thought long and hard about, and we'll start entering my name into the drawings.
You never have?
No, no. I mean, the 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 career has only recently allowed for me, I feel, to like actually take off time to do things like that. But didn't happen this year. Maybe in the future.
That's true for those folks who are listening. Nicholas DeMayo used to be a teacher. It was a
Hmm.
middle school, high school teacher,
High
literature.
school teacher, high school
Mm.
teacher. And whenever I mean, shout out to all the teachers out there. I know I'm not doing it anymore, but it's a great thing to do. It's really hard. And one of the hardest things about it was you're looking to take time off, right? You're looking to decompress, but you have to write sub plans. It's like plans for the substitute teacher before you leave. You need to make sure that you've got like behavior notes, students with like differences. You got to make sure that they are like accommodated or you'll get into serious trouble. Um, just like it's hard to take a day off as a teacher. You cannot
Yeah.
take a day off, it seems.
Yeah. The days off are the ones where the students are not there, right? Like the spring break, the summer break. That's the only time where you could relatively disconnect. But then most of the time you have a second job, right? I know a lot
That's
of
right.
teachers end up doing a lot of second stuff to supplement their income. So really, really crazy stuff. Shout out to all teachers out there. But
Mm.
we missed a lot. We missed a lot. There's a lot to catch up on. I think we first have to touch on this. I mean, it's pretty relevant across a lot of media channels. Has been the WNBA draft. What do you think about how it went down? What do you think about some of the salaries that came out public on what these players are making? Some of the debate there. What are some initial thoughts there, Nick?
So I'll just touch on how exciting it was, firstly, to see the draft and to see Caitlin Clark have her moments where, you know, recognized for the great talent she is. But all the while, it was like really nagging at me to know one that like in terms of viewership, maybe things are going to change. Maybe her presence in the WNBA will boost that viewership up to like how it was when she was in college. Um, so the viewership is going to go down. Hopefully, she continues to get endorsements, right? Because I saw a comparison between her first year salary in the WNBA, something I don't know, estimated like 75K versus Wembanyama's first year salary, which was in the tens of millions of dollars. And it's just it's just not right for a person who's playing in the championship game against South Carolina, broke viewership records for all sports across the past like 5 or more years, 5-ish years. So that's how I feel. A little conflicted. Happy for all the women who got drafted,
Yeah.
but and also excited for the rivalries that we've seen in the past couple of years to continue. But also just like, yeah, disappointed. It shouldn't be this way where female athletes get paid so much less.
Yeah, this is perfect. It's a perfect segue to debate, disagree a little bit, because I do think it was shocking. I think we're all shocked because I don't know. In my mind, I thought that they were at least in the 100Ks, you
Yeah.
know? I didn't know that they were still making like 75K, literally our salaries, right? Like what we make here in the higher ed world,
Right.
in the middle class salaries to play basketball. But I think a lot of that has to do with viewership, right? If if that viewership translates to the WNBA, salaries will go up. If Caitlin Clark continues to break TV records because people want to watch and see her play, that will change. The problem with the WNBA and their salary, and I'm glad people are talking about it. I think the conversation is good to have, but people have to recognize it's also capitalism, right? Like if people were watching the WNBA and if it was profitable, I think they're valued at $100 million, while the NBA is valued at billions of dollars. And even percentage wise, right? If you get down to the percentage of profit versus salaries, although the
Mhm.
NBA players on the surface look like they're getting paid more, the percentage of what they're getting paid towards what the profit of the NBA is making is a smaller percentage than the total pie of the players in the WNBA. Worth noting that the WNBA exists because the NBA players subsidize that, right? As part of their salaries to then funnel money into that league to
Mm.
create a broader audience, right? So I think ultimately we as a society also have to do our part, right? I'm not saying like, oh, let's keep it the same. No, she's a superstar. She shouldn't be making that amount of money. But what we all have to do is pay attention, watch the games, right? What I don't understand is the Major League Baseball and how they're able to still sustain paying the salaries that they do, because I don't see anyone watching those games. But I digress. So that's the only outlier in this argument. I'm sure there's a profit margin somewhere where people are still watching a lot of games in certain markets that are sort of subsidizing that sport.
Yeah.
But if the viewerships continue for Caitlin Clark in the WNBA, if she continues to be electrifying, then it will, like, it was perfect. Don Staley said it right. Was it Rising Tide lifts all boats when she gave a shout out to Caitlin Clark in her
Hmm.
championship speech? So much respect, because I have heard from some of the current WNBA players and prior not enough respect for Caitlin Clark. And there's a lot of, especially on the conservative media, I feel like they really own that narrative of, oh, look at the WM, they're not appreciating Caitlin Clark. But I hope that they do, right? I hope they prove me wrong and that they do and realize that a rising tide lifts all boats. Uh, and I don't imagine that if she continues to be the electrifying player that she was in college, I don't imagine those salaries will continue. But at the same time, you're not going to be able to give people more salary just for the sake of matching another product, when the other product is bringing in billions of dollars and your product is bringing in $100 million, right? You have to find a way to make that brand, the WNBA, much more exciting. And I gotta be honest with you, because I look at the perfect example is the women's soccer team. They have a much more stronger argument to start parodying their pay because
Hmm.
there are a lot of viewers. I think a lot of Americans
Yeah.
do love and adore the women's soccer team
Yeah.
overall. And so the WNBA has to realize, well, how can we brand ourselves, right? Because it's still a product, it's an entertainment product. So you have to be entertaining. You can't just be what you want to be and that's it. There has to be intrigue. There has to be drama, rivalries. You have to pin people up. The NBA wouldn't be where it was if it didn't prop up this rivalry between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. People act like the NBA has always been hot. It has not. When you had that rivalry, black versus white, like whatever it was, it worked for the NBA to propel it into a new stratosphere. They need to create that same dynamic at the WNBA level to create intrigue. That's why
Hmm.
I know you're going to hate this, but that's why I'm enjoying WWE again because I'm realizing WWE wrestling goes back to the basics of entertainment, which is drama, right? Which is intrigue. It should be a soap opera. When sports becomes a soap opera, that's when it becomes epic, right? The Tom Brady eyes on Tom Brady, that's because it's a drama. It's a soap opera. His last year, will he win a championship outside of New England? Will he repeat? All this stuff creates that intrigue. Now we got it a little bit with Mahomes. So just to kind of connect all the dots, I'm glad that it's creating a conversation. And Caitlin Clark, number one overall, duh. Indiana Fever, perfect matchup. But Midwest town, I think they're going to love and embrace her. Tickets already selling out. That's what needs to happen for those salaries to go up. So super excited. My only hope, though, Nick, is those WNBA players better accept her because there's a lot of, it's not just that she's white because there's plenty of white players in the WNBA, but realizing that it's also very heavily leans towards the LGBTQ community as well. And Caitlin Clark doesn't fit in any of those sort of preconceived buckets. She comes in as a white woman, likes guys, coming into an environment where maybe not everyone fits that mold.
Yeah.
But I feel like they have to embrace the totality of it because the rising tide lifts all boats.
It does. It does. I think, meanwhile, in the NBA, the conversation about acceptance of a certain player is just
Mm-hmm.
not ever brought to the forum. And so there's obviously a double standard still that persists in women's sports. Like if you're so and so, then you're not this enough or you're not that enough. When the the paying market uh, just in the NBA cares well, I would say I hope they only care about do you play good basketball, but then there's like the Ball brothers and like a lot of other like peripheral things that just go into like how hype you are whenever you enter the league, and it's not all about your game. Um, but obviously, she's got a ton of game, so we
Yeah.
should be, to your point, exactly. I agree with you. We should be, as sports fans, super super excited about this upcoming season of WNBA basketball. We should be talking
Yeah.
about this too. Do they
Yeah.
let other sports podcasts that talk about like each and all sports devotes like proper time to WNBA, giving it as much credence as other male dominated sports?
We got to do it. We got to be that sports podcast to talk a little bit more and dedicate some time. I think it's going to be a great season. But again, I'm glad people are outraged. She's a superstar. But granted, she's going to make a lot of money in endorsements too. I
Mhm.
saw Nike. She has a huge deal with Nike, her own signature shoe. That thing's going to sell like hotcakes. So she's going to get hers. But there's still all the other WNBA players, especially those rookies they put on a great show overall. That's what needs to transfer. Like Angel Reese and company, Carduso from South Carolina. Like there are some Binks. I think Binks from I don't know if she was from Stanford. I know she was the number 2 pick. Um,
Yeah.
that
Brink. Yeah.
they need their Brink, was it Brink?
Hmm.
Yeah, they need to support that new generation of player because I think they're going to be much more exciting than what currently exists right now in the WNBA. It sucks, but they had their time and they haven't lifted it to the level that they needed to, right? And I think a lot is on the shoulders of these new generation of players to be the Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, right? Like the NBA again wasn't the same, right? Even with you had Dr. J, you had some of these other players. It just wasn't the same until you got Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. The drama, they need the drama. So
Yeah.
if we're outraged, watch this. I'm gonna take like from Obama. He used to say, "Don't boo, vote." And
Hmm.
yeah, it's the same thing. Don't boo the pay disparity. We have to watch. We have to watch. If we want this to change, we have to pay attention and the dollars will flow. If this is something that matters to us, which I think it does for most people, you have to watch. You just can't expect it to fix itself.
Voting is a great analogy, right? You vote in these terms with your eyes, watching the games, and with your feet, going to the stadium. And what is actually
Mm-hmm.
really great to hear that I heard on the draft broadcast that these stadiums that the NBA teams, shall we say, they relegate their WNBA franchises to smaller cedar stadiums. But Caitlin Clark is overselling those stadiums so that they're beginning to, like, if possible, with scheduling, move the WNBA squad into the NBA arena, or actually like start investing in the arenas themselves to
Yeah.
bring them up closer to the facilities that the NBA players get. And so that's a big thing about it too. Like, I've never been to a WNBA game in person. I know that I have family members who live in the New York, New Jersey market who love going to see the Liberty because they get to go to I think it's Barclays Center. They may play in Square Garden, some Madison Square Garden sometimes. But that's a fantastic day out to do something and watch some good
Mm-hmm.
basketball. So that should
Love it.
be everywhere. I don't think that they do that in DC, honestly. I think they have two separate stadiums, one big, one small, and that they play the WNBA games in the smaller of the two arenas, which I have no idea where it even is and how to get to it.
So hopefully that changes this year, right, Nick? But sticking on
Mhm.
basketball, the playing tournament's happening. The playing. I'm just gonna start with some of the news. Zion had a big game, then had a big injury.
Yeah, that's Zion things, right? Those are just too often the storylines whenever you say Zion Williamson. But what are your thoughts, my friend, on the outlook now
Well,
for the playoffs?
yeah, I think it's very exciting. I think maybe LeBron brings one out, but to stick on the Zion Williamson, man, it sucks. It sucks for New Orleans, but it sucks for any NBA fans. I think I think the NBA needs a Zion Williamson, right? More, I mean, Zion's going to be fine regardless, right? If he just can't sustain his NBA career, it's going to suck. I'm sure he's going to have a lot of regrets, but he's going to be fine financially. Um, but man, I just feel like the NBA needed him, you know, like just that electrifying player. Europeans doing great, but they're not as fun to watch, right? Like unless you're really into the Denver Nuggets or I remember meeting a Croatian guy or Serbian guy. I forgot where. Uh, sorry, the what's
Nikola
his name?
Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic is from. But one
I
of the
think
two. He's from.
it's important to
Was it
be
Serbia?
specific here, I think, with these. I think it's Serbia. I'll look that up.
Serbia. Oh, I guess yeah. Sorry. Um,
Not so
but yeah,
bad
God,
history there. You don't have to get
the
into.
differences us humans create for ourselves is so
Right,
outrageous.
I
Like how
know.
close they are. It's like my debate I always get between Dominicans and Haitians. They really don't like
Mhm.
each other, but they literally share an island.
Yeah.
And they feel like they couldn't be more different. I don't
Hmm.
agree with that. I feel like I'm not that different than you, Nick, and we are not culturally. So, anyway,
Right.
I digress. I don't find them like it's not the same electricity. Man, call me old school. I love the Shaq days. I love just this Dwight Howard. It's just an electrifying way to play the game. That the way Zion Williamson is able to score 40 points is different than the way Jokic is able to score 40 points. Just the way they play, the way they move is different. There's just like elite power that Zion Williamson has. And so I was really looking forward for him and the Pelicans to do some work in the playoffs. And it just sucks, man. It sucks for him. I shout out to Shaq's comment, and I agree with this. I'm like, Zion, just put on some icy hot, brother. It's over. Like we've been waiting for you for 5 years since you've been drafted, bro. Like you got a chance to play. Like you got to go old school. Tell him to just put some freaking like stab you with some testosterone or whatever it is to like pump you up, right? Steroid, like whatever it is to get your energy up, to finish the
Yeah.
game. Because it's like you yeah, like that's the old school mentality, right? Like we saw a lot. I still remember Kurt Schilling. Uh, not, I mean, I remember Kurt Schilling with his comments now, not so good, but I remember him on the Boston Red Sox, the
Bloody,
bloody ankle,
bloody sock.
the
Yeah.
bloody sock, man. We need that. Remember, it's just a game. Yes, you don't have to, but at the end of the day, bro, we've been waiting 5 years for your electricity. You're really gonna go out and then be out for week. Like that's it. That's your season. So there you go. Wait another year. It's just put it all out there, man. Put it all out there when you can. I feel like he could have put it all out there, icy hot. Shaq.
Yeah. And at the same time, we've got to also acknowledge it. I disagree that the answer is like steroids and doing things like that because these are people. They're not racehorses. Like they're not to be, poked and prodded. They have their own agency, right? But I do agree that if it's marginal, like an injury that can't get worse, maybe it's painful to play through. I feel like you got to, in a playoff situation, you should give it a go, right? And then use your icy hot, use your painkillers. Jason Kelsey, though, the small digression here, has talked about like the adverse effects of football players' reliance and basically have built up such a tolerance to the painkillers that they need more and more and more, and that is causing them health concerns. So no matter which way you look in the like preparing your body to play, especially in highly physical positions such as Zion's, it's tough to like be their doctor and say, just do this and
Yeah.
then you can go out there. But meanwhile, in the NBA, we're staring at like the Bucks team that could be down Giannis and Damian Lillard to start. Embiid, is he back for the 76ers? I think maybe not fully back just yet. So we're looking at so many injuries, and it does matter when your best players are not out there. It
Yeah.
matters to the viewership. It matters to the quality of the games that you see. So yeah, maybe Zion is just too injury prone.
Well, I think that's the thing. That's the difference because Jimmy Butler also got injured and he's going to need a few weeks. But no, Jimmy Butler's reputation as that dude is hard. Like that is a hardcore dude. Like
Yeah.
so much so that I still believe the Sixers were real dumb. They might have not liked the culture that he was bringing, but they were real dumb to trade Jimmy Butler for Tobias Harris. I know this is a guarantee, folks. You heard it here. I'm sure a lot of people in Philly know this as well. They would have kept Jimmy Butler. They would have had a chip already. The
Mm.
problem is Joel Embiid is not as tough as he needed to be. Because when I look at the Miami Heat team, they're always on the precipice almost every other year of a championship. They have no star players. They don't have a Joel Embiid. They don't have a Giannis. What they have is mental toughness. So imagine if Joel Embiid, the superstar, could have just embraced that mental toughness, they would have been had the chip.
Yep.
They would have been had the Tobias Harris. I saw him with the Magic. That is not. He doesn't show up when he needs to show up, and he still doesn't show up when he needs to show up. He can score you 20 points, 30 points on the nights that don't matter, but he cannot be your go-to shooter when all the chips are down. And that's the problem with the 76ers. Had they never traded Jimmy Butler, they would have had the chip already. But anyway, I'm kind of sad for the Heat because I think their playoff hopes are done overall. And then I got to give a shout out to my Orlando Magic. Going to face the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's going to be an electric series because I think both of those teams are super sneaky. No one's talking about either one, but both of them can go the distance in this playoff. So be on the lookout for that. That's my dark horse is the Orlando Magic, but that's because I'm a fan.
Your dark horse team, and you're looking forward most to that series. I am looking forward to, I'm going to say, the New York Knicks and 76ers series. Partly because I just love seeing Stephen A. Smith get hurt. Just like love seeing him cry and complain that the Knicks underperform, but also maybe for a chance to see something special from either of these teams that I feel like with the talent that they have should always be there. Always bridesmaid, never a bride. And maybe the winning of this first big series, because I feel like 76ers are not seeded correctly, not because like their record is wrong, but because the talent they have doesn't match the record because of injuries. So you have like a team that's not really placed and seeded well, just because of things that happened in the regular season.
I like it.
That could beating the Knicks, or conversely, the Knicks beating the 76ers could be either of those two teams push forward.
I like it. Yeah, it's a tough matchup for the Knicks, the Nickelbackers. Okay. I love that name, by the way. I know we always abbreviate the Knicks, but the Nickelbacker. What is a Nickelbacker?
The Knickerbocker? I feel like I can't say that. Knickerbocker.
Nickelbacker. Just try to go with the Nickelbacker.
But it's spelled with
Hold
a
on, I gotta
K-E-R.
open the door for the cat. Hold on. It is Nick. Is it Knickerbocker?
Yeah, like pants, the form of baggy knee breeches. Breeches, particularly popular in the early 20th century United States.
Man, you see, fella, we go to Madison Square Garden. Coming in, the New York Knicks. Starting at center, Patrick Ewing, even though, sorry, let me stop. I just love that way of talking. It sounds so good. Sounds
All
right,
like
so
you
we're
do that
talking.
a lot.
Worth mentioning here, Nick, let's get into some. So I think we diced basketball. People watch WNBA. You don't like what they're getting paid? Watch WNBA. Super excited about the NBA playoffs. I don't really care about the play-in. I'm glad they do it, but if your team's not in the play-in tournament, you're not really watching until the playoffs start. So we'll see how that sustains itself. But Real upsetting your
go right for the jugular.
city.
Right for the
What
jugular.
happened?
No, I watched both legs of that game, and City honestly didn't play well enough in the first leg defensively. There were so many things that happened, like Kevin De Bruyne got ill before the game started. Ederson wasn't fit enough to play. And they did well to come out of that first leg at the Bernabeu with a draw. And then you get to the second leg, first half started really poorly, started to pick things up, dominate the game. And this is just City doing City things. And the announcers were talking about it in the broadcast, and I couldn't agree more. They get too cute. They get too like obsessed with possession, dominating possession of the ball, try to unlock it. So intricate, beautiful to watch. Eventually they do open up Madrid and score a goal. They put another one over the bar about 2 minutes later, and had that gone in, this would be a different conversation. But there's nothing that can replace. I think it's the Wayne Gretzky quote, like you miss 100% of the shots you
Yeah.
don't take. There's nothing that can replace fizzing a ball across a box and just hoping that a very tired Real Madrid team makes a mistake, puts a boot wrong, puts the ball in their own net, deflects a ball, lands into Holland's feet. Just not, I don't know, just not any sort of, it seems to me, willingness from City
Mm.
to go off script and try to create something that Pep doesn't like to do, which is cross the ball into the box, maybe lose possession. Yeah, overall, lots of. I'm not upset about it. Like it's been a good season. It's just that I liked seeing the English Premier League teams in the Champions League because I feel like they bring a physicality to those games that the remaining teams. Well, there's still a whole other. No, that's it. We've got the semifinal all sorted. So
What's the
all
semifinal? What do we got here?
the Bayern, Munich, Real Madrid, and the other half of the fixtures is going to be. Oh, I'm struggling here to find. Well, I already said PSG, right?
No, you haven't. You haven't
I
said
haven't said
PSG.
that. PSG and Dortmund. PSG and Borussia Dortmund.
Borussia. I'm sorry. I'm excited about that. I'm excited. I'm excited about it. Um, by the way, I think to counteract, I think the German leagues are very physical. Maybe not Bayern Munich, but if you watch some of I love watching was it FC Berlin,
Mhm.
one of them, and in Frankfurt, like the German game has a lot of physicality. So I don't think the Premier League has like owns the physicality of the game. I definitely get Real and La Liga, but I also think that's just because of La Liga's weakness. Overall, like
Mhm.
top to bottom, there's really
Yeah.
only 2 to 3 teams, 3 teams that are relevant in that league. And it's the same thing with PSG, even less so. Like there's maybe 2 teams at any given point in time that are relevant in Ligue 1. But
Mhm.
but the Bundesliga, I think, has done a really good job to match up. And here's what I think you're at, because the Premier League has a lot of good parity,
Yeah.
right? Like, yes, Manchester City's great and they get a lot of points, but there's definitely like good parity. Like it's not guaranteed that Man City will be dominant every year. You don't know who's going to step up to the plate and sort of take on that mantle. I think the Bundesliga has done a good job with that same parity. I think it's just so excited to see Borussia up to the task there as well. But Real, Los Galacticos, they just find a way to win, man. I think to make your point, when you stick to the same thing, maybe that's one you want chip, but it might not win you the next one. And I
Hmm.
think what Real Madrid is so good at is like they're a different team depending on who they play.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy. They're a different team depending on who they play. I think they were playing for these draws.
Yeah.
In all, to your point, all Manchester City had to do was play aggressive for a lot of points, like just outpace, not worry so much about the possession, and just outpace Real, and just like you said, just Wayne Gretzky. They should just lots of shots on goal, as many as possible, you know, and just look for the counter breaks to make it because of the talent they have. It's a talent disparity, and which is hard to
Hmm.
believe that I'm saying that about Real, but there's no way. Manchester City just has the big household names almost all across its roster. So, um, anyway, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of self reflection there. Soccer, still sticking on the soccer topic. Wrexham,
Promoted.
Rob McElvaney, and damn it, why did I always forget the other guy?
Oh,
Deadpool,
Reynolds, Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhaney and Ryan Reynolds team. They were in League Two, officially promoted to League One. They are just a few steps away from that Premier League goal, which honestly, I think if
Crazy.
they're able to then go into the championship after the League One,
Hmm.
um, that's success. That's success. That's crazy success.
Yeah. So the earliest they could be in the Premier League, for folks who don't know I mean, it makes sense. League One follows the championship, then it goes into the Premier League. But just to take a step back, that would mean so we're closing out the 2024 season, 2025. We would see them earliest in the Premier League, late 2026. 2 years. 2 years from now.
Not bad. Not bad.
It could
Not bad.
happen. And we've seen
Yeah.
other teams when they get a boost of investment, actually for Manchester City, this happens. Actually, before there was investment in Manchester City, there was promotion that they won from, I think it was League Two to League One, or maybe it's from League One to the championship, just like a miraculous goal. So had that not happened, I wonder if they wouldn't even be talking about Manchester City at all. But that investment that comes in, paying the money, can turn a team that nobody's ever heard of to potentially a Premier League team in a couple of years, few years.
Yeah. And maybe America's most popular team. Who knows? I know a lot of people are following them and paying attention, and it's cool what they've been able to do. A lot of money spent, but they're also getting great endorsements. So everybody follow Wrexham. That is really exciting to see them in League One. I don't think it's a stretch to think that I think if not next year, the year after, they'll get into the championship, which is, I mean, that's a victory right there. Playing for the championship underneath the Premier, there's definitely a lot of eyeballs on that particular league. So, kind of wrapping up here, Nick, we got to talk gastronomy. Is there any food things, vacations, things you have to share on that end? I know I got something up my sleeve, but I wanted to give you some time too.
Ooh, yeah, I'm excited to get into like proper barbecue season. Do you have a grill, or maybe you don't have a grill? Do you like going to get
Yeah,
barbecue grilled stuff?
I got a Weber, the coal fire grill.
Hmm.
But I just ordered last week. I'm still waiting for it because they assembled it, but it came dented. So waiting for a new delivery of a propane grill. Finally going propane just to the ease of it. So
Yeah.
because the thing with charcoal, it tastes great, but the prep time easily 30 to 45 minutes just to then put meat on it, right?
Hmm.
Like, so it's a long process of cleaning
Yeah.
things out. So it's like the propane is going to be so much easier. So I think I'll get much more into grilling once the propane gas grill comes in. But what about you? What are you
Yeah,
planning?
I'm
What are you working up?
super excited for the warm weather. It just brings on grilling season. Um, I have propane grills in my building that are, kind of free for anyone to use, first come, first serve basis. Uh, and this is my special public service announcement. Just clean the grill after you're done using it.
Mm.
How many people, when you have a communal grill, just let their crap like burn on? And you should, like, as soon as you're done, okay, listen to this. This is how easy it is. Your grill, you're done cooking the food, you take it off, it's still hot. That's the time to take your brush and brush that crap off. It'll come off just like that. But if you let it cool down, cake on there, you're just leaving it for the next person, the next guy to have to clean. So, and
Do you
I
have to
digress.
clean it up every
This is my
time?
pet peeve. I do have to clean it every single time. Every time I start. I mean, not everybody, I bet very few people have communal grills. This is such a first world problem, but uh, this could maybe be helpful for the at home barbecue person. Uh, Clean the grill as soon as you're done cooking the food, because the grill grates are still hot and the stuff will so much easier for you. Don't wait until you know, go to grill the next time and you open up the lid to your grill and it's like a bunch of crap on it. Because then you're probably going to be like, oh, maybe I don't feel like grilling today. But you got to
Done.
clean that off. Well, Anyway,
No, that's
that
your
was
story.
a long rant
What are you grilling? What
for
are you
nothing.
grilling, Nick? Are you grilling some, or are you just saying grilling season started?
No, I've been grilling. The grilling favorites of the moment are chicken satay skewers. Super easy to make, great marinade. And you just like cube up your chicken into like kebab form and coconut milk, curry paste, curry powder, whatever you've got. It doesn't have to be super spicy. You can make it spicier if you wanted to. I just think it's great.
When you're not
Ooh, let's sing. What
control.
What is happening?
is that? You? That's you, bro.
You'll get better. That was my ESPN just deciding all of a sudden it was going to play a commercial.
Nice.
That was weird.
Doing it live, folks. We're doing it live.
What are you looking
Well,
forward to grilling?
Man, just anything. Just super excited, like to go to Costco and finally start buying those hunks of meat. They got great Wagyu level meat, some good looking ribeyes. I'm just excited to finally go to town and be able to make more chicken too, grill more chicken instead of putting in the air fryer or the oven as I've been doing before. So being able to just cook more, really excited for that. But then the steaks, man, just getting good quality steaks and being able to grill that bad boy up the way God intended, and and be able to eat some good food at home, you know. So just excited there. I actually booked a trip. I mean, it's not happening for a little while, but for our anniversary, July 1st through the 5th, me and the fam, we're going to take a cruise, a Royal Caribbean cruise, Freedom of the Seas. So we just booked it last week, or really this week. It was this week. We booked it this week. Super excited about it. We're going to do a little junior suite and splurge. Money we don't have, but you just put it on the credit card. Just put it on the credit card. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it.
I can sense that post booking a cruise glow that you got going on.
Yeah.
Little smile.
It does feel good. Even though it hasn't happened yet, you're just super excited about it. And now what's interesting, because we do have on reserve, like already reserved for us, is the Disney Treasure coming in. So spring 2025, we have Ocean View room booked on the new Disney Treasure. So we are excited about that. But then we also technically, summer 2025, also have an Icon of the Seas room booked as well. So we'll see if we are able to do both. I doubt it. We'll have to pick one, which is probably going to be the Treasure, and then probably postpone the Icon towards a later date. I got to tell people, there's some deals out there. There's some good deals out there. If you don't have kiddos, or if you have kiddos that you're okay with missing some school, there's some good prices on some cruises in sort of off period times. I mean, we're talking about maybe getting it down to $2,000 for a family of four, for a 4-night or more vacation. I'm excited because I kind of thought, because we did the Disney Wish and then we did the Disney Dream. And I got to be honest with you, the Disney Dream wasn't as great as the Disney Wish. But I think a lot of that is just layout. So we kind of put it in our head that maybe we could only do the newer ships. So what's interesting is we did our investigation on Freedom of the Seas. It is one of the older ships, but it's been amplified. So there are a lot of modern amenities. It's been changed. So it has a lot of the things you expect from even the bigger ships as far as locations and different bars and stuff like that. Is they've done such a great job in modernize that we're just really excited to be able to try another family-friendly option, right? Because there are cruises that really are more geared towards adults, but Freedom of the Seas has a lot of family-friendly amenities, and so just super excited to take advantage of it. And yeah, just kind of rock and roll with the ocean. It's such a beautiful thing to be able to be on a ship and see the water and kind of rock with the waves. It's a cool way to travel. It's a cool way to vacation, truly stress-free.
Yeah, everything there for you. Drinks, food, entertainment, all sorted. One fell swoop. So, man, cruising, it's a special feeling. Just like you actually, I mean, unless you buy the Wi-Fi plan, which maybe you like to be connected. I kind of like the disconnecting part of it as well. can't be contacted. That's a nice part of it.
It's a huge benefit, actually, I think, to not be, even though I really do want the life of the blogger on all the cruise ships and judging all the cruise ships. I want that life. We got to turn this podcast into a profit so we can go take vacations to then book content, right? To be able to do content. So
you're listening, Royal. We are ready and willing.
Yeah, and we'll give glowing reviews. It's funny, you hear the bias, like so there's Disney Food Blog is a huge Disney blogging content creation. Their website's awful though. It's just so many ads. They're really like you can't really see content without something popping up. So it's actually a horrible website. But they make a lot of money creating great video content, right? And a lot of people watch that. But they're really all about Disney, right? So they're really glowing about things that if you were to try yourself, you're probably like, that's not so great. I don't know why they like that so much. And it's the same thing with the Royal Caribbean blog guy. I love watching his videos, but man, he really glows a lot about Royal, where you can't get into a realistic conversation. Like maybe these things aren't so great, you know? So anyway, that's it. So people book some vacation. Summer's around the corner. Book it.
Use your vacation days, folks. I heard like something like, this is from a Expedia commercial, but I believe it's a
credible source.
Credible source, yeah. People who want have an interest in making you vacation or telling people that Americans don't use like 80% of their vacation time each year. Don't be those people. Use your vacation time. Honestly, it's part of your compensation. And this is a lesson for myself too, because I take vacation time. It's going back to something we talked about at the beginning of the pod, being a teacher and not feeling like you can take your vacation and actually feel rested. That sticks with you. So teachers, take your vacation time. The kids will be fine. They love when you're out, honestly.
They love it. We're giving you a big hug, Nick. Giving our audience a big hug. Hopefully you all have a great week. We'll be back next week. We'll be regular with this. Watch the WNBA. Watch the NBA. Watch Champions League. Watch wrestling. WWE is hot right now. Great content. Great entertainment. Give me the drama. All right. Cheers.
Enjoy. Bye, everyone.